What's up? It's your boy Smooth.
What's up? It's your girl Jolly, and it's smooth being jolly. Yup. So today we're gonna pretty much walk y'all through a discussion we're gonna have about lack of communication in our relationship and how we got through that type of thing. So
yeah, we have got through something, but we still working on things.
Yeah.
In the same sense. So here goes.
All right. So what is one of the issues you felt we had as far as like communication goes?
I felt in our relationship that in the beginning stages especially, she worked, like 10, 12-hour days, and I always felt like, if she wasn't communicating with me, at least 5, 6, 7, 8 times out the day, she was cheating or she was communicating with somebody else. Because in my mind, if you're not communicating with me, then you're communicating with somebody else. In my heart of hearts, if you really like me enough, you'll make time for me. That goes for whether you're at work, you're not at work, you'll do whatever it takes. Sometimes she won't have her phone by her, so we'll go all day without talking. So in that sense, in the beginning, those was the things that kind of bothered me the most.
Yeah. So with that being said, I worked at a mental facility. So I would work 15, 16, sometimes 17 hour shifts. And I was like a stickler to when it came to rules. So if they said no phone on the unit, I stood by that rule. I was like, I didn't have my phone on the unit. I was like, I'm not having my phone on the unit because I really want to stick to the rules. Like, I'm a person who likes to follow rules. Now, some people might say I'm a goody two-shoes, but that's just how I roll. Rules are important to me, But then, at first, I was kind of like, I'm not going to have my phone, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I wasn't utilizing the things that I could have utilized, like my lunch breaks and all that stuff. But then, as we got further along, I started utilizing those things, like my lunch break, and other breaks I had. And then, I just stopped caring. And I just started taking my phone on the unit, because after a certain point, I think I was so over, all the stress and everything that job was causing that I actually needed somebody to talk to. So I took my phone on the unit.
So during the early stages, because you told me that you didn't like having your phone always on you all the time. So like I text her sometimes at 10 in the morning, and I won't get a response till like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, like, really? This is the reason why I only date females and I bounce from female to female, because in my mind, it's like, if you're not communicating with me, then you must not like me enough to communicate with me. You know what I mean? It don't matter what job I'm working at. If I like you, I want to communicate with you all the time. You feel me? And I just didn't feel like that same energy was being applied on the other end. So that's what drove me crazy about her, man. Like, it really was like hurting my feelings. Like, it had the relationship so rocky that I didn't care if it worked, didn't work. I'm gonna do my thing. If she do her thing, oh, so be it, because I want the relationship to work that bad. And in my heart, if you're not doing what I feel like you need to do in order for the relationship to work, then all right, you don't appreciate what I'm bringing to the table, so I'm gonna do my thing.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, so like he said, I was never a girl to have my phone on me all the time. So that was just something that I did. I just would, like, especially when I was at home, I stayed downstairs. My phone would stay downstairs even when I went upstairs. So when I went back downstairs, that's when I checked my phone and see that there was a text message. I don't know. I just always felt like, especially with social media and all that stuff too, I just was never really into all that stuff when we first started dating. And now I feel like I'm getting into it more now than I was before. So that's that's an improvement.
So what's some questions you got for me?
So when it comes to communication, what are some things you feel you lack in as far as
I feel like in regard to the relationship I feel like understanding. I feel like when you're so used to doing things how you've been doing it, and I think this could be applied to both of us. When you're so used to doing things the way you always been doing it, sometimes somebody else coming in and trying to fill a void that you feel like doesn't need to be filled, you really don't listen to what they say. Because if I go to work like this all the time, if I eat like this all the time, you can't tell me that this don't work for me. I've been doing this all my life. Don't tell me that you need me to change and do this and this and the third. So every time she was to say something to me, I would take it as if she's trying to be aggressive. She's trying to be my mom. She's trying to be my dad. Of course, I know she's not trying to be my dad or my mom, but because she was being so aggressive, it made me feel like, damn, like, who are you to try to tell me what to do about my life? Is you doing that with your life? So I feel like in relationship a lot, we always trying to one up each other instead of understand and listen and try to feel each other out. So I feel like, you know what I mean, that's something I'm still currently struggling with, because let's say I know a quicker way to go to a store or something. She may say, no, I like doing it this way. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, but if we go this way, it's going to be there in 3 minutes. No, but I like doing it. I'm like, dude, but I'm from here. You can't tell me nothing about my roads, my street. The way you're going, it's going to take you 10 minutes to get there. I take my way, it's going to take me 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So what made everything change for me in that regard is, if she going to drive her car, I let her do whatever she wants to do. I mean, sometimes I might slip up and be like, come on, seriously? You know what I'm saying? But in that regards to communication, I just let her do her in her car, and she let me do me in my car.
Yeah, so I feel like with understanding, that was a big, huge issue. We were struggling with understanding each other and understanding how each person communicated and thought. So yeah, there were things how I thought that he didn't like, and there were ways that he thought that I didn't like. You know, like if we were having a conversation and I brought up something, or if he brought up something, it would be like, well, why are you trying to come at me? Like, I never said I had an issue with anything you do, so why you got an issue with me? Why are you trying to come at me? It was always taken in that regards. Like, dang, okay, so I don't care.
I feel like sometimes in regard to communication, it's not what we say, it's how we say it. So like, you know what I mean? If you telling me something about my house, this is my house. You can't tell me nothing about my house. But you might be still telling me something that may need to change, but because it's my house, I don't want to change it. And that's not good. That's not good either. But it's how you tell me that make me be like, well, since you telling me like that, I'm gonna keep it how it's been. You can't tell me how to operate my house. Now, if you was to say it in a more civil way, that where as though you're trying to help instead of try to be demanding, it makes the conversation go more smoother. It make me feel like, oh, you on my side. You want me to progress. You want me to do better. Instead of like, what the heck is this? You need to start doing this. You know what I mean? So when people jump down on you for certain things, it make you really like be standoffish and be defensive. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's...
Yeah, because that was one of the things that stressed me out about you. Like every time we would have an argument or something, instead of you like coming to me and talking to me like in a more calm, relaxing way, it was more like, well, and I was like, oh, so you talking to me like that, which means that you're making things worse for me. Because if most people didn't know, I struggle with depression and anxiety. So when, you know, I'm already anxious or stressed out or something, I'm already having thousands of things in my head at one time. So then, like a different, like let's say we had a conversation, and instead of it going the way I wanted it to go, it went a different way. Then that gets put in my head. Then, you know, it's all, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, and you know, if you stop doing this and start doing that, then you'd be more like this, more like that. And I'd just be like, you know, the way that things are said, the way that, and this goes in regards to both of us, the way we communicate with each other, the way we say things wasn't always the right way. So I think now we have more of an understanding than we did before. We still are working on it. It's a struggle, but we're working on it. And I'm not going to say it's ever like, yes, we want to get to the point where we're good and we can understand each other and we can have conversations without getting mad at each other, because that was another issue that we had. We would always have conversations, and the tone and how we said things, we would go days without talking. Sometimes it was a week.
But let me tell you why that happened. We both stubborn. You know what I'm saying? So since we both stubborn, we have this thing of telling ourselves like, oh, okay, she don't call me. Oh, he don't call me. Well, shoot, I guess we ain't talking then. Instead of, all right, I'm gonna be the bigger person this time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How you feeling? How you feel about what we was arguing about? You know what I mean? Instead, you know what I mean? Working through those issues and try to be better to help the situation grow. You know what I mean? Right. Every argument is not meant to build for destruction. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need those arguments and disagreements in order to grow as one. Everything I say not always right. Everything you say not always right. But I feel like sometimes we so quick to respond that we're not actually listening to what the other person has said. We so quick to, what? No, this how you supposed to do it. No, woo. And it's like, dude, we cannot do that if you expect, you know what I mean, things to get better. I have to hear you out. You have to hear me out. If all I'm doing is listening to everything you say, or all you're doing is listening to everything I say, the conversation goes nowhere, because we're both having disagreements on both sides. So if we're not hearing each other out, the conversation is going to be dropped dead, and one of us is going to shut down, and the conversation not going to go nowhere. And that's why I feel like we struggle with, we were struggling with then and constantly still struggling with to this day. You feel me?
Yeah, and another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is how, you know, I feel like we both kind of had this, but we expect everybody else to communicate the way that we communicate. So if, you know, things aren't going the way we wanted it to go as far as communication goes, we're like, man, forget it. Like, I don't care. Like, this isn't going. Like, if I say this and I say we gonna do this here, but then, you know, nobody's picking up on it or whatnot, then it's over. It's done. Like, I don't care no more.
Right.
You know, so I feel like
but it's just, I feel like in that regard, I feel like everybody wants to be appreciated for their time, you know what I mean? And, or as people, you know what I'm saying? If you're not hearing me out, or you care about the way I think, do you really care about me as a person enough to want to know how I feel? You know what I mean? Because if everything I say is always right, and I never listen to what you say and how you feel or your desires and what you want to be when you get older, what, you know what I'm saying, where your career path is going to be, did you work out today, etc., etc. I really don't care about you enough to even then, you know what I'm saying, like, that leads to destruction in my eyes, because you're not really trying to hear me out. You just want it to be your way or the highway. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, you know, taking a little bit from you, take a little bit from me, we're able to compromise and work through those channels, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, yeah, like he said, there has to be a median in everything. Like, yeah, we can still have our certain way that we communicate, because we're people. We've been communicating this way for so long. You know, sometimes it's hard to change up. But if we take parts from each person and we learn how the other person communicates and work with that, with how we communicate, then that creates an understanding. So therefore, yeah, I'm gonna be like, you know, I don't like when you do this or that. And then you'll be like, okay, I understand. Like, the tone of voice you use was so much better than how you used to say, well, you need to stop doing this and doing that, and da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, you know, listening to the other person's point of view so that you understand what it is that ticks them in a certain way, and that you can work on it and progress.
Right.
But yeah, as far as now, I feel like all those things, like, yeah, the things we talked about, they're not as bad as they were at the beginning. But we're still progressing. We're not 100% perfect. We're still going to have arguments. We're still going to have disagreements. But I think the way we go about them now is so much better. You know, we're not constantly going, like, we could go, like, now, instead of going days without talking, we'll either figure it out right then and there, or, you know, sometimes it'll be hours, but, you know, we'll talk about it and then everything will be fine.
Right.
You know, we'll get on the path and we'll kind of, and another thing we learn how to do is not hold on to a situation. So if a situation happens, talk about it and move on. And I learned this from your boy here. He taught me well, because like I said, I have anxiety, so I tend to focus on things over and over and over. It's in my head, and it's constantly just there, and I constantly hold on to it. So every time something happens, I'm constantly bringing it up, like, oh my gosh, this is the issue, this is the issue, this is the issue. But talk about it and move on. Let it go. Like, don't stay fixed in the same situation, because that's going to cause more situations in the relationship.
And another thing I feel like helped, and this is probably the last thing, is if we had an issue, like, let's say we had an issue at 10 o'clock this morning, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, or she'd be like, all right, I need to go on a walk. And we'll go on a walk at 9 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? And then you're able to address whatever, whether it's something that happened at work, something that happened with your family, something that just going on with you mentally. It's on the walk, on the 30-minute walk that we take when we have a problem, you're able to say your piece and let it go.
Right.
Because if you do a lot of complaining, yes, it's good to state what's on your mind and what's bothering you. But if you don't walk and let that stuff out, you're going to continuously think about it and keep bringing it up. But when we go on the walk, it gives you the power to say, I'm not going to let this control me. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to let you know what's bothering me. Okay, this is the solution. This is how we want to address it now. And then move on. If you're going to keep complaining about it, maybe you are the problem, because you just want to constantly complain about something without action being placed with it. You feel me? So that's something I feel like that helped us in regard to the communication.
I agree, because that was like we talked about our own different styles of communication. Me, I've never been one to, you know, my anxiety and my depression kind of messes with my mind a little bit. So if there is something struggling, or I kind of hold it in, or I complain about it, and it's continuous. So it's like, man, this is and it's constant, and it's like, you know, I had to realize that I had to be more vocal and stop holding it in, and find more ways to communicate it without complaining about it. Say what I gotta say. He can give me some advice, he can listen, and then wipe your hands with it.
Right.
So I've been working on that, and you know, and I feel like it's getting better. There's still there's still room to go. We still got a while to go, but I'm progressing. I'm getting better. So that was the segment today of stuff that, you know, we want to be transparent with y'all. Right. We ain't perfect. We ain't gonna never be. We never gonna be perfect. Never. But we just felt like this is something probably everybody goes through, and we wanted to, you know, kind of express what we go through and things that probably didn't help us over the time. So. All right, peace, y'all. It's Smooth being jolly. We out.